Okay, so I've gotten myself pretty set up. I told you how important it is to sort of make sure that you prep everything, just like if you're getting ready for a class or you're getting ready to do a big project. You want to make sure that sort of everything is set up. You've got things that are organized and sort of ready to go, so that way you can, buckle down and study for a couple hours, or so that way you can paint your mural without having to move around and get paint all over everything or whatever. So it's really important to set yourself up, and cooking is definitely no exception. So I want to cook a bunch of stuff. My wife is hungry. Rachel's hungry. She's upstairs right now. And so I'm going to make her a bunch of eggs. Now, these two things are not for the eggs. I've got them prepped and set aside. They're going to go in with the sauce, right? So this is all the garlic for the sauce, and then the oil and seasonings and the tomatoes. So all this is going to go together pretty soon. But the eggs I'm going to start first. And I'm going to cook, like, this is some garlic set aside for the eggs. I've washed some mushrooms to make sure that we get all, there's like a lot of dirt. These things obviously come from the ground. And so you want to wash, especially mushrooms, quite a bit because, I don't know, you don't want that like gritty flavor. You're probably going to burn away anything really harmful if you're cooking them well enough. But it's still good to really wash your mushrooms. But mushrooms are super healthy for you, and I keep hearing more and more about the health benefits. So definitely try to incorporate some mushrooms in your diet. One of the things that I want to show you before I post the video, now that you're sort of seeing a little bit of the process and what's going on. Oh, just before I do that, I'm going to make hummus at the same time, So the idea, cooking, there's a lot of sort of downtime, like a little bit of like, I don't know, like time when you're sort of waiting for one thing to get sort of done. And it's really nice to have a couple things going at the same time. And it sucks that you're constantly working, but it's really nice that you can make a bunch of meals within the same time frame. Before I forget too, I wanted to show you, this is our pickled onions. And let's try them out, huh? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Whew! It's pretty vinegary, but it's great, and that'll be super good by itself as like a little salad. I can keep this out if I want to. It's just in the fridge. This is pretty cold. But this is about what it should look like. A lot of the red from the onions is starting to sort of bleed out into the vinegar, and that's sort of when you know that the osmosis and diffusion is taking place, and that process is working. All right, so last thing here. Check out the egg. So the yolk and the inside, and this is an unfertilized egg, right? There's the egg here, but there's no sperm to fertilize the chicken. The roosters were kept aside from the chickens, so they didn't, do their fancy business and fertilize this egg. And then we get to eat it. There's a lot of nutrition in here. Inside of the yolk, there's a ton of lipids. Right? We talked about how lipids are fats, and so mostly lipids, and that's gonna really allow the chicken to grow. That's got all the nutrients, and so if this got fertilized, if this was a fertilized egg, then the yolk is where they would be pulling, where that newly forming chicken would be basically sucking all of its energy from, and that's what it would use to build its body. And then down here, I don't know if you could see this little, sort of like a lighter, you see that little lighter part? That is what would have become the chicken. That little teeny, like the brown speck, and then that white part, that's like what would have become the living organism. That's sort of like coming off of the yolk. Here's another little part too. You see how that little wispy part? That would have become the chicken, but obviously, no fertilization. And then this, the clear part on the outside, what we would call the egg white, you know, if it got cooked, that's almost pure protein. And that's there really to help to cushion the egg in case it gets really knocked around. And that's got pretty great, high protein content. But obviously, it's if you get like egg whites, it's more expensive because a lot of the egg is the yolk. So hopefully you learned a little bit about eggies, and like I said, I've got myself all prepped and sort of ready to go. So as I start to cook some other things together, then I'll post more. Okay? Sorry, this was a little bit of a long one, but I wanted to sort of show you how to set up the kitchen to make some meals. All right, catch you later.